question and answer discussion, but we really want to hear the feedback and experiences from the representatives of Samoa and Tonga. So we thought that we will start with Tonga because they are still finalizing the plan, and then we will continue with Samoa because they already have finished. So I want to start with a few questions to Lesieli. So Lesieli, the first question, please, is what were your reasons for why you decided to develop a national plan against mosquitoes in Tonga?
Okay, to answer that question, I think Maru presented on her first slide all the reasons why a plan is important. So for us in Tonga, the reason why we thought of doing a strategic plan was firstly, vector-borne disease is a common thing in Tonga, not only Tonga but the Pacific. And the other thing is documentation is a big thing that we face in our specific section. So thinking that we have the strategic plan in place, it can guide us on what activities that we need to focus on. So have it in place that when the senior staff moves away, there's still a document in place for the new staff to come in and continue on doing the same job and working towards it. Because with the senior staff moving out of the ministry and new one coming in, it's sort of like repeating the same cycle. Instead of moving forward, we're developing new stuff just to address the same issue that we've been facing all throughout the year. So that's one of the main reasons why a strategic plan was in place for Tonga.
Thank you so much, Lesieli. And now the next question is how you were able to identify which were the priorities for Tonga, like the specific priorities of the plan?
So the main specific priorities that we addressed, seeing with COVID-19, is the international health regulation. So that's why we identified having the traps and those being set up at the port of entry. We've been doing community surveillance and all those things. So we identified the gap is that we don't have that implemented in the port of entry and as stated by the IHR. So those are gaps that we identified from our normal activity that's not in there. So that's why we have those priorities in place.
Perfect. Thank you so much. The next question is regarding the process, and you have lived with us the process for a year and a half, the process developing the plan. What do you think in your experience has worked well, and also what things we can improve, or the challenges? Yeah.
Okay, so for the process of doing the strategic planning, what worked well is this document, we got into network with other ministries in Tonga and even local authorities that actually carry out similar activities to what we're doing. So like when we're doing vector control, we have local contractors, businesses that are also doing vector control. So in a way we can identify what practices we do together and try to eliminate duplicating the activities that we have done. So it's provide networking and also to see what roles we can help out with each other if there's an outbreak and those. So and that's one of the what worked well. The challenges though, I think you mentioned that we've been trying to do online, but due to other various activities that we have to focus on, that's not being able to be done. But then the face-to-face is a good thing. So it's good to have the online just to keep you on track of the progress. But the face-to-face meeting with the PacMOSSI team on the strategic plan helped in finalizing what was discussed online, because there's a lot of distraction when you're doing it online, and also the internet in Tonga sometimes not good, so that's not a good thing when there's miscommunication. So that's just it.
Yeah, thank you. And the last question to you, and then we'll open the floor for the public, but you're almost done finalizing the plan. So where do you see now your program going with that? What do you think will be the next steps when we have a finalized plan?
So the next step, we're hoping that it will be So after finalizing, we'll get the endorsement from the ministry, and also having this plan out to not only the other communities but the other government agencies, so that this plan is a working document not just for the environmental health side and the vector unit, but for all of the people in Tonga, because it involves the community as well. So that's what we're hoping it will move towards.
Thank you so much. Maybe we will continue with Fata, and then we will see if someone has questions with any of you. So thank you, Lesieli, and now thank you, Fata. But stay there. So Fata, as we said, you have been able to finalize the plan and endorse it, and we thought that it will be very good for the countries to understand how you were able to have a draft, a finalized draft, to be able to endorse, that the country endorsed the plan and successfully launched it last year.
Before I share my experience and my knowledge in the perspective of Samoa, I want to announce my right arm. Professor Satupaitea is there at the back. He is the Vice Chancellor of the Oceania University of Medicine. He is a doctor by profession, he is a cardiologist, but he is a champion of mosquito. Is well known here in the Pacific. For this, we call it a milestone. It's not an easy job. Having a framework and have this strategic development for Samoa is not an easy role to play. I want to challenge all the Pacific Islands to be a champion to do that. You know, there's a saying that, without a plan, we're leading to the failure part of life. And we all see here the presentation that we are not alone from other documents, mother documents, the Pacific, the global, and the region. So what we achieved last year and launched last year by our sector and the minister, it's all a teamwork. It's not a tool or a mechanism by Samoa alone. And I really, really acknowledge the PacMOSSI for that. We do a lot of Zoom. Almost 6 or 7 months. Sometimes I tired and my staff is there. We always do a lot of Zoom. But the idea for us is to consistently follow that plan. Sometimes you're busy, but let some other people to be part of your team. In that way, we'll consistently develop the idea. Putting the framework is not a one-day job. And it comprises of different sectors of the government together with the community. The experience from here, because here in our country, we have what we call the strategic development of the country, 5-year plan. And then comes to the sector plan. And then Ministry of Health plan, management plan, corporate plan, and many other plans. So we align those plans together with this presentation from our WHO guy. There's a global, there's a region, and then the national level. And that's how we compile this strategic plan for Samoa. So my experience in this is because of this stable system in our country that we managed to easily develop, because it goes back to the channel of the endorsement. It goes to the Director General, to the Minister of Health, and then the Cabinet. Prior that they go to other existing committees. Remember I mentioned yesterday, Samoa, they have what we call the IBCC and other committees in the government. So it comprises of many people involved outside the ministry. So the IBCC is the leading organization or committee. We drive together this one. So after the Zoom meeting with the PacMOSSI and us, the staff and the ministry, we always go back to the IBCC for more comments, more suggestions, and more issues that need to raise. As mentioned by some of us, the framework or the strategic plan is just a tool, but the ownership is back to the community. So the idea is, collect in a way that it's applied locally, those activities, because they need to own it and let us people to be involved. So for this strategic plan we launched last year, to me, from experience, that, it's a stable government, a stable development strategy. We now have what we call a pathway, Samoa pathway, in the 5-year plan. And within that plan, we managed to put down public health as part of the tropical disease and communicable disease. So we align from those areas and then put together with the framework last year. That's why we come up very good a strategic plan. So from the ministry to the Director General and through the minister to sign it, that's a system we have here. Maybe it's good for other islands, but that's how we develop and the process. But bear in mind, you need to bring that framework to let our people there having consultations, develop meetings, IVCC and maybe other meetings. We normally go to the community sector under the Ministry of Women and Social Community Development to highlight some of the objectives and some ideas. Because we know in this framework, it's more like three triangle: agricultural sector, environmental sector, and the health sector. So that is how we develop this kind of mechanism. But it's a very tough work. Mentally, I think I advise all the vector staff in the Pacific to be you as a champion. It's, work hard. And from there we can manage to develop the importance of this framework. Because the framework will convince the budget. We are not money people. But the framework and the strategic will convince the people there, hey, we need the money for this. And that's how we do the framework here in Sam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fata, for that. And I think you already answered the second question we have about the IBCC, so thank you for that. So we will just go for the last question for you, and I think that's important. You talked yesterday about the Samoa response against the outbreak that is happening now, but can you tell us just how the strategic plan, so having a finalized strategic plan, supported you or is supporting you at some level but with your outbreak response?
When the outbreak kicked off this year, and we believe in our mind, this is the practical application of this framework we launched last year. And to us, if we are not put in action, this thing that we do last year is a waste of time. And this is the reality that we need to learn from other people. And with the last year's launching of this strategy, and then this year declare of the outbreak, it's a lot of lessons we learn, and a lot of challenging issues that we observe. But it's good for us because when the outbreak was declared, it followed this mother document, what it says there during the emergency, and that's how the submission to the cabinet was developed, and that's what the declare was occurred. So last year, the launching, this year was an outbreak, and to us, we realize there's a lot of other issues that need to develop. Even though we have some loopholes or gaps, but we managed to guide that one because of this strategic development. And there's a lot of issues because our people, they say, hey, Fata, and why you not spray the whole country? We can't do that. We need to prioritize and develop a plan that says in the framework, okay, target the hot spotted area. And that's how the thing are running, because it's within that framework. And that's how we convince our people the importance of these pesticide, the active ingredients. You need to know that by heart. And actually the importance of these, because people, they question, is it effective or not? Is it just a play of a game as a politics, or it's just a... So there's a lot of people there, they question you, but you need to be on top of your thinking as a vector surveillance person. And so many gaps like staff. Staff, we have some major development. I think it's an ongoing issue here in the Pacific and it's global about the need of more staff. And I honestly, in my mind, that without staff, I cannot survive. So we need more technical, because it's a technical area in environmental health, and we need more staff to do this job. It's not an easy job. Now we still try to fight for some allowance, but we need to put your heart that you serve for your country. You serve for the public health and also for people there outside the government. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fata. That was great. So thank you for both of our speakers. And I don't know if we have time for the public to ask a few questions. So I don't know if anyone wants to ask any question to Lesieli or Fata.
Hi, I'm actually a big fan of strategic planning, so I wanted to say well done and congratulations. I see strategic planning as a very solid, good first step, but there are a lot of other things that are required for its successful implementation. So I have one question, but divided into two parts. First is the financing. So if you can share your experience, how it is being financed, or how much of it you expect that it would be financed, either by the government or the partners. And in this particular example of vector surveillance and control plans, do you see there's an opportunity or a value add to integrate these plans with disease plans like malaria or dengue, or broader environmental health plans?
Yes, the very simple and straightforward question, yes, we need a lot of funding in terms of support. At the moment that we try to work together as professors at the back, and there is a discussion that we need to work together with other disciplines in Samoa, the SROS and NUS, and also for the Ministry of Health. With the idea of not only developing the importance of this more on the research findings to develop the importance of this mosquito, but also to develop the younger generation of Samoa to go and do some postgrad and undergrad under the environmental health or whatever to pursue this kind of research, open mini research. And this is where the academic institutions overseas and donor partners we openly need it. At the moment when the outbreak was started, we heavily depend on the WHO for some chemicals. And at the same time, we try to submit our request for the cabinet for some chemicals. So the money was there, but they want to squeeze the buy of that budget. And at the end of the day, that there's a much needed in terms of capacity building, human resources, tools and equipment, and also the operation. Because, small islands, only 100 population, we want to depend on the lab, on maybe the SWOS can do the other part, while the Ministry of Health in our side will concentrate doing a lot of mosquito in terms of vector surveillance to lay traps and collect a lot of, try to identify and all those stuff. So looking forward in the future, we need more on that kind of support. Not only the expertise and consultants, but also the funding mechanism in terms of tools and equipment and other areas that will help to develop the importance of this strategy that we launched last year. Not sure whether I answer your question.
Thank you.
I might just add to that. So in Tonga and Samoa, they did, Samoa wanted a standalone plan. Originally it was going to be all vectors, but the prioritisation of needing to have something for dengue made the decision to go to mosquito-borne. In Tonga, the aim is it will integrate into an ongoing design of an environmental health plan. So the same template's been used, but that one is slower than the vector-borne one. So again, the decision was made by the government. Go ahead with the mosquito one, and it will fit into the environmental health one, and we've been working with the people supporting that. In other countries, it is part of something integrated, but they're wanting it updated or reviewed. So again, it does depend upon how the country wants to do that, and the process then is trying to help ensure that evidence base. From the budget point of view, again, trying to be very realistic, as Maru said, it does want to be an advocacy document for more resources over time, but it also needs to look at the reality of what more can be done with the resources that are there. And so it's been always trying to balance that, a little bit of stretch, but also making sure the priority things that need to be done are well identified and within the envelope of some of the resources that are there now. So hopefully that helps as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think we are out of time, but yes, again, thanks to Lesieli and Fata. Thank you, everybody.